Welcome back to our special Finger 11 edition of Inside Jam, celebrating the release of their DVD, Us Versus Then Versus Now.
Well, before the break, we delved into the group's original history as the Rainbow Butt Monkeys and the switch to Finger 11.
Despite a rocky start, the change would definitely be the right move for the group.
The rebranded Finger 11 was introduced to audiences in 1997 with the Arnold Landy-produced album Tip. However, 6 weeks after its release, they were let go from Universal Music, being quickly picked up by Wind Up Records, where their disc was re-released. The new sound paid off with their second single, Quicksand, and their third single, Above, both cracking the top 40 U.S. mainstream rock charts.
In 2000, the group released The Grayest of Blue Skies. First Time was the debut single, but neither it nor the following singles, Drag You Down or Bones and Joints, found a home on the charts. The disc marked the end of the band's relationship with producer Arnold Landy.
It would be 2003 before the band regrouped with a self-titled album produced by Johnny Kaye. The first single, Good Times, failed to make a dent in the charts, but their hard work paid off with their second single.
If I gave it all away for one thing.
Aside from hitting #1 in Canada, One Thing would crack the top 40 on the U.S. Hot 100, Adult Top 40, and Mainstream Rock charts, peaking at #5 on the U.S. Modern Rock charts.
How did things change for you when One Thing happened?
Well,
one of the things we stopped worrying about where the next gig was coming from. We're like, oh, we get to stay on the road a lot longer, so that's cool. And then you could rely on if somebody had not ever heard you, you could maybe hook them in when you were playing live. Maybe you're opening for somebody, and with your 35 minutes, we would play One Thing, and people would cheer disproportionately, right? They'd be like, oh, you're those guys. And then we would play like hard stuff, whatever. We would. It was a cool entryway to people that had no idea who we were. So that changed. You know, some of the reactions changed, but it didn't change them. It hardly changed anything about the band, except we got a little more confidence about working for as long as we want to work, because you know the road is expensive and all that. So it was all positive, really.
Now, with that kind of sustained success, have you noticed anything in your lives though? I mean, are things a little bit easier, perhaps? I mean,
I guess so. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm still waiting for that giant truck of money to show up to my house or something that they promise when you're a teenager and you're like,
oh, that came by my house. I just kept it.
But are there myths? I mean, do people not really understand what success means? I mean, you hear these stories, particularly with Canadian success stories.
Right.
You think a band would be rolling in money, and they're
no,
still living on their mom's couch.
It's not true. No, I've only got 6 houses. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, what's the problem? You know, it's like I'm not rolling in it. I've only furnished 5 of them. So, no, you still have to live within your means, right?
Right.
You should do that. You'll always, I guess. You know, I won't be taking my gas station job back anytime soon, so that's cool.
The perception of it,
is a little off.
Yeah, it's always been a little off, I think. And but I think it's kind of a good thing, if the band appears bigger than it is, that's always a good thing. But the realities of the music industry, I mean, it's just not what. If you're not in it, yeah, I think you'd be surprised. It's just really expensive to tour. These things cost a lot of money. The better things go, the more expensive it all gets. The more maybe crew guys you got to have, and so the more you get, the more you end up spending. To keep the show getting bigger, and if you can't still do the same show you did 10 years ago at this spot, so it sort of follows along. The expenses follow along with your success.